Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we want to do the Carpenter quest for Stormblood. In my original recording, just a bit over 1 minute into the recording, there is an error that something is lost. So I record the start and then I turn back to the old recording. So here we go. Ah, that's the way. The very Carpenter I thought to call upon. One of our new recruits seems dispirited of late. Though I have approached her on several occasions, she is reluctant to share her troubles with me. Maybe you can try talking to her? She's like to be far more receptive to a brave and amenable woman such as herself. Cemi is her name. You can find her out front, tweeting shadow logs. Yeah, there's Cemi Jinjal, and the moment we start talking to her, I turn back to the old recording. Huh? Good gods, you're Desiree, famed adventurer and Bearden's most promising disciple. What are you doing here? Ah yes, that. It's nothing I can speak to most of the other guild members about, much less Timbermaster Bearden. You see, our guild, it's in peril. Our sales continue to plummet, and if this downward trend tends to continue, I know not what will become of it. What concerns me more than that, however, is the toll this has taken on the Timbermaster. He's been working tirelessly and refuses to stop or even eat or drink. It's almost as though he's attempting to make up for everything at the expense of his own health. If this continues, I'm afraid he won't have the strength to grip a saw, much less restore a Carpenter's guild to its former glory. But not all is yet lost. I may have found a solution. If we were to speak with some of the locals to learn what kind of furniture designs are currently in demand, we can alter our products to fit their tastes and improve our sales. It is, however, a rather monumental task for someone to take on alone, doubly so for an inexperienced carpenter like me. Desiree, please, will you help me? Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much. Now then, let's begin by interviewing potential customers at the Carline Canopy. Customers. Now, what sort of furniture have I been buying? Lately I've been purchasing a lot of Far Eastern style items. After all, that's what's popular nowadays. I recently finished building a house in the Lavender Beds. They've been furnishing it with Dorman-themed furniture. The bold yet delicate patterns prevalent in much of their work greatly resonates with me. Downstairs? Or outside? Downstairs. Farah. Furniture. I must say that the Hingan furnishings trickling in from the Far East have struck a chord with me. People are often far too eager to forsake their own heritage in exchange for keeping up with the latest fads. I, on the other hand, take great comfort in knowing my furniture embodies generation upon a generation of tradition. So, Far Eastern style is currently in. How is it that the furniture from the Far East has so far surpassed the popularity of our local products? Gridania is home to carpenters whose skill is unmatched. Or at least I had thought. At this rate, our guild will fall into obscurity. We must convince Timbermaster Bearden to immediately begin producing Far Eastern style furniture if we're to have any chance of surviving. If there more clout with him, I wouldn't hesitate to march in there and tell him as much, but as it stands, I'm afraid he won't take what I have to say seriously. If you, his star pupil, were to accompany me, however, my words will hold far more sway. You'll come with me? Fantastic! Let's go and pitch my idea to the Timber Master then. I'm beginning to feel incredibly nervous. I'm going on a trip, and not just any trip, but one to the Far East. We should to look after things while I'm gone, will you? What? I suppose the two of you are here because there's something you would like to discuss. Very well. Have at it. Sir, as you might already be aware, Far Eastern furnishings have recently been flooding the market. With men and women all across Gridania, Eorzea even, only too eager to buy them, we are at great risk of falling behind. I believe, however, if we are to get ahead of this trend and begin manufacturing products of Oriental design, we can convince more customers to purchase from us and improve the status of our guild. Oh, and you think producing crude imitations will suffice? I will not have it said that we compromise on quality. If you are truly committed to this proposal, I will support you, provided you accept one condition. You are to travel to Kugane. There, you will immerse yourself in their rich history and culture, both of which have given shape to their craft. Developing a greater understanding of these things will allow you to produce items of similar caliber to those found in that very region. That's it? That's a condition? Of course, I'd be delighted to go there. In fact, I shall make ready to depart post-haste. Wish me luck. I shall send you a letter once I arrive. I wonder if she truly understands the purpose of my sending her there. At any rate, she seems to have overcome her despair. I suspect I have you to thank for that, Desiree. Very well, I suppose all that is left for us to do now is await her letter. Next quest at level 63. Desiree, I've received word from Cemi. She has made it safely to Kugane. Or rather, that's what I have surmised from this letter that goes into great detail about the various new foods she has tried there. While I was the one to suggest she embark on this trip alone, I have come to rethink my decision. If this letter is any indication, she needs a mentor to guide her in her studies in Kugane. Someone to keep her from becoming distracted from her goals. I would like for you to be that person. To ensure she accomplishes what I sent her there to do, I would have the two of you search out local residents who appear to be troubled. Employing your carpentry skills, you have to find a way to solve their problems. Thank you, child. It's good to know I can always rely on you. I imagine there are a number of things you need to tend to before you leave, so I will say my farewells to you here. Till you return, Desiree. And off we go to Kugane. Desiree, it is a true miracle that our paths would converge so soon, and here of all places. I certainly hope you've been enjoying this splendid city as much as I am. I have just arrived, and I find I'm already completely enamored with its people, foods, and customs. Everything here is so different, so unique, something which can no doubt be attributed to Kugane's extended isolation from the rest of the world. Take, for example, the delicate motifs that occur in much of her work. You would never be able to find this in Eorzea. Forgive me, surely you didn't come all this way to listen to my musings on such things? Well, why exactly have you come here again? The guildmaster said you needed a mentor. Me, you say? This is fantastic. Together we are sure to have a grand time touring the area and taking in the sights. So, Timber Master Bearton would have us search for troubled citizens and fix their problems with our source stammers. What a brilliant idea. Not only will this help improve my skills, it will also afford me the perfect opportunity to establish my reputation as a carpenter. We haven't a moment to waste. Let us scour the streets and see if anyone is in need of our assistance. Koganadori, they say. Who is this strange girl? Desiree, thank the matron you're here. I've already found someone in need of our services. There's just one teensy problem. Why is it no one will ever listen to what I have to say? She approached me asking if anything was wrong, so I thought this time would be different. As soon as I began talking, however, she sat down and began banging her tools together. Please, I cannot take this anymore. Madam, I need help. Your help. Okay. I'm just so fed up with the way I look. With this lank hair and these plain features, I melt right into the crowd. No one ever remembers who I am. After this, even you would probably forget me. My confidence dwindles by the day. It is to a point where I must summon every ounce of courage to even speak to someone. I'm so sorry, I had no idea you felt that way. Mother was right, I need to learn to listen instead of jumping to my own conclusions. Don't worry, madam. We'll find an answer to your problem. Now, please allow me to escort you to the Shiokaze hostelry, where you might wait while we figure out how to go about this. Desiree, in the meantime, can you go and interview some of the Mujikoza actors? Surely they know best how to gain people's attention and have more confidence. A woman who feels overlooked and is not confident in her own skin? That simply won't do. Perhaps your friend should try using cosmetics. Changing your external appearance often has the added benefit of transforming how you feel about yourself and how the world perceives you. Take us, for example. We are an aggressive, burly bunch. With a dash of eyeshadow and a bit of blush, however, even we will turn into a gaggle of girls before your very eyes. When we think we are girls, we become girls. Simple as that. Confidence. You asked me of ways to gain confidence? The best way to do that would be to improve yourself. Whether that be from the inside out or the outside in. Have I ever been ignored by an audience? Of course I have. When that happens, you pack a bit more powder on your face and spruce up your costume. You will find yourself standing in a little straighter, talking a little louder, and moving a little bolder. And that's when you're sure to steal the show. Yes, I think there's hope for you. So, Cemi. Desiree, thank the gods you finally returned. Please, please, please tell me you've thought of something. What can we make to help our friend raise her self-esteem and be noticed? A fine spear to strike on all who pay no mind. A lavish dressing case to be filled with powders and blushes. A wonderful solution. Cosmetics will allow her to enhance her features. So she might stand out from the crowd. When people begin paying her more attention, she'll be sure to regain her lost confidence. While you were away, I took the initiative to gather some materials. Here, have a look and take what you require. Everything we spent will be reimbursed by the guild, so don't feel the need to hold back. And unlike the A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward crafting stuff, we don't need to gather materials ourselves. And in fact, these are separate items under the Special Recipes Story category. Unfortunately, you can't see the recipes before you unlock the quest. I think that is a bit spoilery, but yeah, what can you do? Now... Yes, I think there is hope for you, don't you worry. A dressing case? It's incredibly beautiful, but I see how it will help me. So you're saying altering my look will change the way I feel about myself and how people react to me? It's certainly worth a try. Wallowing in self-pity as I've done until now will fix nothing. This box, however, might. May I have a look? Oh, that's so beautiful. Everything down to the last detail has been crafted with such delicate precision. No wonder Timbermaster Bearden holds you in such high regard. Even with years of practice, I doubt I'd be able to craft anything so splendid. Madam, please accept my sincerest apologies for the earlier distress I caused you. I should have been more considerate of your feelings. No, it is I who must apologize. If only I had the strength to convey my thoughts and trust in my own voice, none of this would have been an issue. Besides, I dare say that meeting the two of you may have well been a turning point in my life. From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank you for your help. I wish you all the very best in your endeavors. Her words have lit a fire in me, unlike anything I've ever felt before. While I've been nothing but a hindrance thus far, I promise I won't be for much longer. Good. Thank you, Desiree. Without you, I think this lady might never have found a way to conquer that which has been holding her back. Do you think there will ever come a day when I'll be able to address the client's problems with the same swiftness that you do? Oh, but what am I saying? With a little practice and effort, nothing is impossible. There's much for me to learn, and it's time I take full advantage of all the Far East has to offer. Together, let us refine our skills and reconvene once more when we have gotten them to a level we are satisfied with. Quality assurance. Good, Cemi. Let's continue. A lesson in listening. That's why you're here. Since last we met, I've been working day and night to improve my shortcomings as a carpenter. I'm leaps and bounds from where I once was. Until now, I've been undependable. I promise you, however, that from this moment forward, you'll be seeing an entirely new side of me. To prove to you just how much I've changed, I took the initiative and found us a new client. Her name is Ume, and she runs the local tea house. I've even finished crafting the items she requested of us. Are you impressed yet? Well, there's more. I'm scheduling to deliver it to her at her shop. You'll come with me, won't you? After all, my first successful business transaction is something you'll not want to miss. Alright. This girl. She hears the words, but does she understand any of them? What do you mean you can't use this? I took special care to listen to every word you said. This is exactly what you asked for. This charming little sign is certain to attract droves of customers. Exactly what I asked for? It's a far cry from it. I told you I wanted something which would help me establish a base of regular patrons. This is an advertisement aimed at the general public, the precise opposite of what I need. Even if I had requested this ridiculous sign, what makes you think it would do anything to convince customers to come here? The writing on it is illegible, and you can scarce make out the name of my shop. Does it help? Ah, you brought a friend. You look like you have a good head on your shoulders. Perhaps you would be able to help me? Excellent. While I cannot quite place my finger on it, I suspect my tea house lacks something in the way of ambience. I would like for you to figure out what exactly that something might be and make me furnishings or accessories to improve it. If you find yourself short on ideas, you might speak with some of my customers. Maybe you can ask them for their opinions on what would enhance their experience here. As it seems I'm no longer needed here, I shall return to the Sheer Castle Hostery and ready some materials for you. Once you decide what it is you want to craft, come look for me and I shall provide you with what you need. Apologies, but I was just on my way out. If only this place was more willing to accommodate smokers, I would be that much more inclined to stay. How would I go about improving this place? Well, I have no complaints about the tea or food. It would be nice if I had books or a place to smoke to help pass the time. For all the good food and drink, it still lacks warmth. I would come here twice as often if I had a corner where I could sit back, relax, and have a smoke after a long day. Desiree, I know not how to apologize to you. It seems the harder I try, the more work I create for you. If only I could figure out what I'm doing wrong. I thought my problem was listening, so I made sure to take note of every word that came from the client's mouth, but it made no difference in the end. But I digress. Now is not the time for dwelling on my failure. Let us concentrate on fulfilling the tea shop proprietor's request. Do you have any idea of what we can make to satisfy her? A cudgel with which she can defend her establishment. A pipe box so people can have a smoke and unwind. That's it. I've noticed many men and women in Kugana do indulge on occasion. Setting a pipe box in the area is the perfect way to invite them to have a leisurely smoke after they've finished their tea. It's certain to keep them coming back. Now, let's think about making it. You may be needing this, maybe some of that, and of course this. Here, this should be everything. I think the tea house owner is quite eager to receive her delivery. If you could finish the pipe box and see that it gets to her quickly, it would be greatly appreciated. A key to running a successful business is cultivating a loyal clientele. I need for you to assist me in doing just that. A pipe box, you say? Ah, but of course, why didn't I think of that? Most of my customers smoke. Inviting them to do so here after they finish their streets and tea will no doubt encourage them to stop by more regularly. Do you see now, little lady? This is what I was asking for. Yes, it's crystal clear now. Desiree is a master carpenter. In contrast, I'm nothing but a miserable failure. Might I take a look at that? Great gods, Timmermaster Bearton, what are you doing here? I felt the call of wood and followed it here. Ah yes, the intricate metal inlay coupled with a finely polished wooden exterior leads me to believe that this is your work, Desiree. You have quite the sense of humor, child. My dear lady, it seems my protege here has seen fit to furnish you with a pipe box in the truest sense of a word. What, pray tell, do you mean? A pipe box holds ash, and this particular one is made of ash lumber. Mayhap, however, you would need to be a carpenter to fully appreciate the joke. Mayhap indeed. All jesting aside, I would like to thank you for this magnificent gift. I cannot wait to see the reaction it will elicit from my guests. Cemi, from what I understand, Desiree made a pipe box at the request of a client. Tell me, why is it that you also did not craft one? I'm sorry, sir. I've been giving it my all. Really, I have. But the sad truth is, nothing I make is good enough to satisfy anyone. That's why I thought it best for me to stick to simply gathering materials. It is always a struggle in the beginning, but that is no excuse to quit. Failure builds character. Character which will allow you to grow as a craftsman. While it may not feel like it, you have grown a great deal during your sojourn here in Kugane. However, it's time you packed your bags. You are to journey to Yangsha next, to the lands beyond the Ruby Sea. Yes, sir. I shall make ready to depart straight away. That's the way I will be going ahead of you. But why not? Once I arrive, I shall send you a letter telling you where we can meet. Cemi, before you go, allow me to say this. You have a firm grasp of all the basics and a sharp intuition besides. There is, however, one thing that is holding you back. You strive sorely for perfection. Remember, your purpose is not to create something flawless, but something authentic, something unique that will be cherished for years and years to come. Goodbye, Guildmaster. I was looking if a pipe box now stands anywhere, but... How exciting is this? I'm going to Yangsha, don't you fret, Desiree. Like I mentioned earlier, once I've settled in, I shall send a letter to you by way of Kotokaze. This time I have every intention of living up to Timbermaster Bearton's expectations. Why, I dare say we shall even be returning from our journeys there with a tale or two on how I charmed my way into the locals' hearts with my carpentry skills. Till we meet again in Yangsha. You learn manipulation. Okay, Kotokaze. Ah, Desiree. A letter from Cemi has just arrived for you. Dear Desiree, I'm writing to tell you that I've arrived in a tiny village in Yangsha known as Namai. It's such a delightful place. Every day I stumble across something new, whether it be the unusual materials they employ in their construction or the unfamiliar but delicious food. Oh yes, the food here is exquisite and the desserts are even better. In fact, the sugar-coated dumplings they have are simply to die for. I'll be sure to treat you to some when you come. See you soon, yours truly, Cemi. The Culinarians Guild must be extremely proud to have a member as passionate about food as Cemi. She is sure to make a fine chef one day. Yeah, if she were a culinarian. But she's supposed to be a carpenter. Desiree, how wonderful it is to see you. It's been far too long. Have you tried any of the local cuisine yet? If you haven't, I know the perfect place for us to start. I was planning to take you there purely to discuss business, I swear. After all, we're better to do that than over food. Alright, your disapproval has been duly noted. Instead of going for food, let us search out any people who might be in need of our assistance then. Hello, is there anyone out there seeking the service of a young carpenter? Anyone at all? Help? Yes, I could use some of that. You see, in the days before the Empire held dominion over our lands, I was a chef. While our freedom from them is fleeting, I would nevertheless like to use this opportunity to once again pursue my passion for cooking. As such, I have been thinking to open my own restaurant. To do so, I would need to procure basic furnishings for my future shop. It's not a simple task. Most of what I have come across is either far too expensive or of poor quality. Then you may be pleased to hear, sir, that before you send 2 highly skilled members of a carpenter's guild in Gridania, we shall see that you receive the furniture you require. You would do this for me? Most certainly. What kind of furnishings do you need? Apart from the tables and the chairs, I need something that would allow my guests to feel at ease. Those from the Enclave have different dining habits from those of us here in Namai. I would like to create an environment where both would feel equally welcome. Please leave it to us, sir. Now, Desiree, what do you say of making things a tad more interesting? Let's turn this into a competition. We will each make something for our client and present the finished products to him. He will then judge them and decide on a winner. Pretty, please. Won't you do it for me? This is the only way I can show Timmermasters in Vietnam just as skilled as all the other carpenters in the guild. Settle, Ben. Go about making the furniture however you will, but I recommend you speak with the people here before getting started. Some have lived here their entire lives, others once lived on the Enclave. With their help, you may better understand the subtle differences in our ways. Thank you, sir. We'll be sure to do that. Desiree, once you've decided what you'll be making, come and find me. I'll furnish you with any materials you might need. Your friend, she is full to the brim with energy. The only difference is that table manners are practically non-existent out here. The people have good hearts, but they have no sense of etiquette. They will eat their food on the street and sip their teas in front of you. One should take their meal behind closed doors with family or friends. It would be nice if they would at least eat behind a partition or some such, and spare the rest of us the sight. I would say that the people from the Enclave are more elegant than us. Never seen one with a hair out of place or in clothes that have not been neatly pressed. They place great importance on rules, manners, and fashion over there. Yes, I suppose you could say I am from the Enclave, though I have lived here for most of my life. When I was young, my family and I fled to this village that we might escape Imperial troops. What? You would like for me to demonstrate the difference in dining habits? I'm afraid that's not something I can help you with. Now, Cemi. Desiree, have you finally decided on what you'll be making? I'll be building the entire restaurant from the ground up. A wooden shield to protect her food from, you know. Ornate partition that can be hung between each of the tables. Partitions? But that seems so dull. That's not what you're really thinking to make, is it? Wait, you're not trying to lose on purpose, are you? Well, I know I'm not yet as good as you. Never did I think that you saw me as so far beneath you that you feel the need to do this. Calm down. My apologies. It seems I jumped to conclusions again. I know you're the type of person to do something like that. It's no excuse, but lately I've been on edge. I can't shake the feeling that this is my last chance to convince Timbermaster Bearden that I'm a capable carpenter worthy of being called such. If I don't, he might stop assigning me work, and I might as well leave the guild. I shall not let it come to that. No matter what it takes, I must find a way to prove myself. Oh, I completely forgot. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to blabber on about my worries. After all, you are here for materials, aren't you? Here you are. Feel free to come back if it's not enough. An ornate partition. Opening up a restaurant has always been a dream of mine. To think that it might soon be within my grasp fills me with joy beyond belief. What have we here? May I? Timbermaster Bearden. This table is exquisite. It's extremely sturdy, yet manages to maintain a sleek elegance. And these Doman-style engravings that run up and down the sides of the legs. If I didn't know better, I would guess they were work of a more practiced pair of hands than your own, Cemi. Now, Desiree, let us see yours. Simple but all the more stunning for it. The lacquer finish is a nice touch, a light gloss that is just enough to enhance the natural blush of the wood, but not overpower it. While both of these are masterpieces in their own right, I will say this. The detailed engravings on the table are something even a highly skilled artisan would struggle to recreate. What do you think, sir? The moment I saw it, I knew which one of these I wanted. Desperately needed, even. I choose... this one. But Desiree is a better carpenter than me, I don't deny. But she has the skills I could only ever dream of attaining, I also admit, but... I poured my heart and soul into that table. Sir, why is it that you chose Desiree's partition over Cemi's table? Simple, really. Dome and city folk are a private sort. They would appreciate the way these wooden barriers would hide them from sight as they eat. The young lady's table is magnificent, a work of art even. However, it does not fulfill the needs of my customers like these partitions do. It seems the time it took to carve the intricate detailing on this table would have been better spent interviewing the local citizens. Cemi, do you understand now why it is you lost? You were so focused on demonstrating your own skill that you disregarded the needs of your client. Desiree, on the other hand, spoke with the residents of the village, which inspired her to create these partitions, a product that places the customer's needs above all else. In that sense, the difference between your table and her partition is the difference between a decent carpenter and a master of a craft. That said, this is where your journey ends. I expect to see you both of you back in Gridania shortly after I return. No, this can't be. Please tell me Timbermaster Bearden hasn't given up on me. Oh, what am I to do? You said you're decent, okay? Is your friend alright? While I cannot claim to understand what any of that was about, I would like to thank you for your wonderful contribution. It is sure to suit my restaurant perfectly. I mean, he himself said, you are decent. But you're still missing something to become a master of a craft. Again, jumping to conclusions, right? Timber must have beaten. Thank the matron you've returned. The drawers of this desk you made for me are broken. Is there a chance that can be fixed? I shall see what can be done. After all, I can hardly say no to someone who has so cherished one of my creations as you have. Timbermaster Bearden. Sir, my son, he's just been accepted into the Order of a Twin Adder. To celebrate, I'd like to have you craft him a fine spear. Order of a Twin Adder? That's quite the accomplishment. Very well, I shall make him one that will see him through all his battles. Wait, sir. Come back. I'd also had a quest for him, but I suppose I'll have to wait. I should have known getting the finest carpenter in all of Gridania to make something for you wasn't going to be an easy task. Excuse me? If you don't mind my asking, why is it that all of you like Timbermaster Bearden so much? When you ask him to make something, he creates that item for you and you alone. To make something for that person and that person alone. Thinking back, that's how I first got into carpentry. I was born into a family poorer than dirt, one where we couldn't afford to purchase even the most basic of furniture. My mother raised us by herself, working from dawn till dusk, so that my sisters and I wouldn't go to bed hungry every night. As a result, she pushed herself too hard, and one day, the pain in her back became too much to bear. Seeing her suffering drove me to make her an armchair in which she could rest from time to time. It was all the young me could think to do. While the finished product creaked and buckled under her weight, not for a single moment as I was making it did I lose sight of the fact that I was doing it all for her. I've been so preoccupied with myself, trying to prove my skills, but somewhere along the way I forgot the most important thing. It's never too late to remember and begin anew. Cemi, the key to harnessing your own potential is to recognize what is holding you back. From here, you can only grow. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. There's still hope for me. Desiree, thank you for supporting me up to now. It's only because of you that I have come this far. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that our grand adventures together made me feel as though I've been born again. I'm looking forward to exploring the world of carpentry once more. She's not the only one who owes you a debt of gratitude. While I'm skilled at working with wood, I'm not nearly so adept at dealing with people and their problems. You have helped Cemi in ways I could not. You're part of the reason I have such high hopes for the girl. With a mentor like you to look up to, she will no doubt flourish. That is why I ask that you speak with her one last time before you leave. That's right, you'll be happy to hear that Timbermaster Bearden has finally deemed my work good enough to begin taking on some of my own clients. Isn't it so exciting? That's not to say I forget about my studies or the guild's troubles, however. In between commissions I've been spending my time practicing how to make oriental furniture. That way I can retain all that I learned from our trips to Gugania and Namai. But that's not all. I'll be keeping the people we met there in mind. They'll help me to remember that I'm making this furniture not for myself, but for those around me. You'll see, Desiree, I'm going to work so hard that one day I'll be as good as you. And reaching level 70 just in time. Tea party rules. Desiree, there you are. I was beginning to wonder when you'd show up. Timbermaster Bearton says he has some clients he wants to introduce to us. Well, don't just stand there, let's go. I shall do everything in my power to see that our new client is completely satisfied. And Gerhard is here. You have a knack for showing up at the right place at the right time. You're here, good. Gerhard, do you remember Desiree? Remember? I could hardly forget. It would be no exaggeration to say that I owe this woman my life. In fact, the reason I'm here is related to the time Desiree saved us. By the bow she brought, I was able to drive out the XIV forces that threatened us. Our victory over him has bolstered our unit's reputation, and we've been receiving new recruits by the dozens since. In our latest batch, we received a mixture of eager Alamegans and Guidanians. If you do not see the problem, allow me to explain. There's always been a certain racial tension between the refugees and locals. I thought holding a tea party might ease the unease between them. I was wrong. Now they seem to have an even greater aversion for one another. There you have it. I suggest you begin by speaking with Gerhard's recruits to see what exactly went wrong. If we can pinpoint the cause of their feud, it will make it much easier for us to solve the problem. Yes, sir, you can count on me. Desiree, would you mind accompanying Cemi? Mind you, this is an official request. It would not do to send someone who has yet to complete basic training to carry out this task alone. So it'll be the two of you then. Good. Now, I imagine my new recruits will be at and around the Adder's Nest. You should have no trouble finding them. Once you're finished, see that you report back to me. Yes, sir. Guidanian soldier, what was the problem? If you're here to talk with the captain, you're here to speak with me? Why we don't like them? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Every time we try to reach out, how are we repaid? With hostility. Take that tea party Captain Gerd arranged for us, for example. We attended hoping to turn over a new leaf. They, however, clearly came for different reasons, because the moment we sat down, they served us Alamegan tea. It seems they've gone from refusing to accept our culture to openly spurning it. My apologies, but I would like to leave it at that, lest anger get the best of me. If you wish to know more, however, perhaps you should try speaking with one of the Alamegan recruits. This sounds a lot like a misunderstanding. Cemi? My new motto: live, love, and craft to fulfill the need of others. Now I never forget the lessons I learned while in the Far East. What are you looking at? Is there something you need? If not, I suggest you move along. Just wanted to ask a few questions, sir. Most questions sound an awful lot like the ones Captain Gerd asked us yesterday. Is he the one that put you up to this? Every day, we Alamegans bleed and fight and die to protect this country, and yet the Guidanians still regard us with the same suspicion and resentment they do beastmen. Even so, we decided that the tea party Captain Gerd arranged was a good chance for us to establish some common ground with him and find a way to lay aside some of our differences. We thought serving Alamegan tea would be a good way to break the ice, but no. Our kind gesture was met only with disdainful stares. Well, no longer will we be made to feel worthless by the Guidanians. From now on, we'll have nothing to do with them. No, it was a gesture of friendship and was misunderstood as an insult. I see you've spoken with some of Gerhard's newest recruits. Do you have any idea on how we might put an end to a feud? A Far Eastern style tea party should end the bickering. A Far Eastern themed tea party? That might just work. No one would feel as though they're being snubbed, and the interesting setting might even provide them with a topic of conversation. You recall the tea house benches of Kugane, do you not? Very good. I suggest you craft one. What does she craft? After all, she's the apprentice, right? Shouldn't she at least do something? Success is only possible if each of the members of the squadron completely trust one another. What's this? I've never seen anything like it. You're looking at a tea house bench, the quality and make of which is identical to those crafted by the master carpenters of the Far East. Now, Cemi, what have you made for us? Allow me to present you with this. This the exact same thing as Desiree crafted. What led you decide upon a tea house bench? After speaking with the initiates, I surmised that both sides had attended a tea party hoping to reconcile the differences. Given the right environment, I reckon they still can. So I thought, why not hold a Far Eastern style tea party? Not only would it provide them with a relaxed atmosphere, it would give them a chance to bond over a culture that is different from their own. That you have begun taking the needs of the clients into consideration, and in doing so came to the same conclusion as Desiree, is evidence that you have matured as a carpenter. Well done. Now it's time to put your benches to the test. I would have the two of you take them to Apkalu Falls and set them up. Gerhard, gather your subordinates and Desiree and Cemi there. I will join you all shortly. Very well. Apkalu Falls. Great. Welcome, everyone. While I know our last tea party was by no means a rousing success, I appreciate how willing most of you were to give this idea a second chance. It seems some of you felt that certain cultures were disrespected at our last get-together. For that, I apologize. Regardless of where you're from, I value and respect every one of you, as you should each other, for we are brothers and sisters in arms. Family, if you will. I hope at this gathering, the craftsmen of the Carpenters Guild helped me organize will allow you to realize that. Now, for the fun part. What do you think, everyone? Before you is an exact replica of a tea house in Kugane. Kugane, as in the Far Eastern port city? Well, I suppose these decorations do have a certain exotic charm. A Kutganes-style tea party, huh? Everything looks so elegant. These furnishings are almost as beautiful as those found here in Gridania. Carpentry is culture, and culture is ever present in our lives. One can learn a great deal about a people simply by looking at their furniture. Sitting here upon these benches had made me realize there are many magnificent things in the vast world. In my narrow-mindedness, I nearly missed out on them. We should have taken the time to learn more about you and where you're from. We eat meals together, we fight together, and yet because of our reluctance to speak with you, we know almost nothing about you. For that, we are sorry. No, it's we who must apologize. While many of us consider Gridania to be a second home, there's a lot about your culture that we have yet to fully grasp. Let us raise our cups and give a toast to the start of a new and beautiful friendship. Have you all been enjoying yourself? Yes, it's been a long time since I talked so much or laughed so hard. I thought we had absolutely nothing in common, but I was mistaken. Indeed, the more we speak, the more I come to realize how alike we are. I'm glad we finally found a way to put our differences aside. Good. Remember, on the battlefield it matters not where you're from or where you were raised, only that you survive. For that, you will need to rely on each other, never forget that. Well done, both of you. Fulfilling the client's need with great finesse is something I have come to expect from Desiree. You surprised me, Cemi. That you have the same idea as one of our guild's best artisans proves you're one step closer to becoming a full-fledged carpenter. Do not, however, mistake that to mean the items the two of you craft are of a comparable quality. Even to the untrained eye, one is far superior to the other. Quality, however, is not everything. Their client has walked away feeling completely satisfied, and that is a tremendous accomplishment. Cemi, if you continue to work hard, perhaps someday you will come to be as good as this talented woman beside you. Thank you, sir. I shall remember this moment and continue owning my skill that they might one day rival Desiree's. I nearly forgot. If I may be so bold as to ask, sir, what has become of our guild? Will we recover from debt anytime soon? I beg your pardon? What debt? What debt? So long as we continue to receive commissions from the Order of a Twin Adder, we need not want for capital. But sir, if not for the guild, why were you working yourself so hard? You wouldn't even stop to take meals. Ah yes, I was temporarily overcome with a desperate need to reconnect with the wood. To achieve this, I began living as though a tree would, taking in only sunlight and water. I really need to stop jumping to conclusions. Oh, and Desiree, please allow me to thank you once again. While it was a misunderstanding on my part that led us to the Far East, I couldn't be happier with the results. I will be eternally grateful to you for seeing me through this journey and for all that you've taught me. Though this particular adventure will be over, I have no doubts we will embark upon another together in the near future. Until then, I shall continue to practice, and practice some more. And when you next see me, I may nearly be as good as you. Desiree, your ability to inspire people never fails to astound me. It is in no small part thanks to you that Cemi has grown as much as he has. Your talent and the love you hold for your craft is a rarity even amongst the elite. I hope we will continue to use both to serve men and women all across Eorzea. Bye. Okay, but that was the Carpenter quest for Stormblood. And what Cemi said, we will have another adventure in the near future. I don't think I've seen it yet. So, until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Ace, and don't get lost.